Okay, so up until last week, we spoke about halal and haram, what to do, what not to do in Ramadan. We spoke about what's permissible, the fundamentals of fasting. Today, inshallah, we're going to talk about another side, what we call is mu'amalat, interactions. It's easy for us to not eat, to not drink, to abstain. It's these are the things that we know. But one of the main key points, one of the purification objectives of Ramadan, which is to purify our souls and enhance our interactions with each other. And this is the topic, inshallah, of today. How to focus on our interactions with other people and how to be a better person. I'm going to start with the ayah. The ayah, it contains quite a few interactions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to the faithful, to the believers, to the mu'mineen. And he's ordering us to do several things. I'm going to talk about each one. First thing is Ghaibah. There's dhann, of course, but I'm going to start with the Ghaibah, first of all. Now, Ghaibah means backbiting. It's very similar to slander, two concepts. I'm talking about someone. I'm talking about a brother, a sister, someone. It can be true or it can be false. I can say, so-and-so is short. He's short. That's a truth. That's a true fact. Or I can say, so-and-so is a thief and he's an honest person. Now, the first one is Ghaibah, is backbiting. It's the scholars defined it by mentioning your brother or sister, mentioning your brother with whatever he hates. Now, I'm going to put several lines under this word, whatever he hates. And that's true, by the way. It has to be something true. If it's not true, that's Buhtan, that's slander. That's even worse. That's more horrific than this one. Sayyidina Muhammad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is talking about just saying the truth. You're not lying yet. You're not slandering your brother or sister. So anything about the brother that he hates to listen, if you're face to face with him, you should not mention it behind his back. And that's Ghaibah. Now, Sayyidina Muhammad was walking with some companions, and they passed, and as they were talking, as people talk, they're walking and talking. So the two companions were talking about a brother, and the Prophet was quiet. So as they passed by a dead donkey, it's rotted, you can see the flies on it, maggots, completely. And Sayyidina Muhammad stopped and said, "Eat from that donkey." So he said, "Prophet of Allah, it's a dead donkey, can't eat from that." He said, "What you've done to your brother is worse than eating from that donkey." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains it. It's like cannibalism. Imagine someone eating another human, his brother's meat. That's the equation of what Ghaibah is. Now, you don't have to say something bad like describe him badly. No. I know my son, for instance, I know my brother. I don't know, I'm thinking. Let's just speak about my brother over here. You know what? He's wearing a brown jacket. He doesn't like the color brown. He hates it. He doesn't like anyone. So, you know what? I'm going to talk about his brown jacket. Every time anyone talks about his brown jacket, he absolutely hates it. I know you don't hate it, but I'm just giving an example. As simple as that. Something he does not like. Something he didn't appreciate. How many times have we spoken about our brothers with something they don't appreciate? I remember I was and this is one of the reasons I don't really like any social media. This is a personal thing. I don't like to open WhatsApp if I can avoid it. Two brothers were talking. I was in a group, and they were mentioning a brother, and they were saying, "Oh, the brother really he insults a lot. in Arabic we say lisan tweed. That means he's someone who constantly says bad words. And I was thinking, I kind of put a voicemail saying, would you dare say that in a space? I went to him, would I say to my brother, you say bad words? No, I wouldn't. That's not polite. Or why are you saying it behind his back? That's Ghaibah. That's the definition of Ghaibah. We've got to be very careful about Ghaibah because remember when I said that every sin has got three conditions for forgiveness. Any sin you can think of, three conditions. You don't do it, you regret it, you will that you'll never do it again. Have an intention, I'll never do it again. Firm intention. These are the three things you do. Very simple. Stop, regret it, don't do it again. Easy. There's a fourth one. If it's related to an interaction with another Muslim or another human, actually. If I stole from a brother, it's not enough to do these three things. I have to give him my money back or his money back. If I slap a brother, it's not good to not slap the brother again or anyone again and ask Allah forgiveness. It's not good enough. Allah doesn't accept your forgiveness until you go to the brother and make sure that he forgives you first. So Allah's forgiveness is caveated by your brother or sister forgiving you. Okay, so I go to my brother, I slap him, and I say, I'm so sorry I slapped you. Forgive me, I didn't mean to push you, I didn't mean to hit you up, I didn't mean to do something bad with you. He said, khalas brother, fine, we're okay. How are we going to do that if you talk behind your brother and say something bad about him? Can you just imagine going to a brother and saying, brother, behind your back, I said that you're something, whatever it is. I can't imagine more. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how that conversation is going to go? That's not going to go well, is it? So there are sins that drag you to hell because it's so difficult to seek forgiveness from those sins. Now, this is the Ghaibah. The Buhtan, the slander, is even worse because I'm lying about my brother. I'm saying my brother's, for instance, something in him that's not in him. Let's just assume that my brother's tall. I'm saying he's short. As an example, I don't know why that's in my mind, but as an example. So what am I going to say? What am I going to my brother? Sorry, I just said you're short. You're a bad person. It won't go well. At the very least, even if he forgives you, I can guarantee that chances are 50% he's not going to speak to you again. And it's not his fault. It's your fault because you spoke about your brother or your sister. Now it becomes compounded if your brother's in a different country. What are you going to do? How are you going to get to him? Worse and worse if he dies. Then what? You're stuck. You're literally stuck. What are you going to do? All right. The second one, we spoke about the Ghaibah, we spoke about it. Now, I'm speaking about these relations. They are forbidden outside of Ramadan. But in Ramadan, they're even more. Sayyidina Muhammad said, من لم ينتهي عن قول الزور والعمل به فليس لله حاجة في يدع طعامه وشرابه. Whoever doesn't stop perjury and acting on perjury, lying and being dishonest, then Allah's got no need for him to fast, to stop eating and drinking. You still, by the way, have to do that because it's obligatory, but your reward's all got. In other words, when you do these sins, these simple things that we do it, we probably don't think about it. You're losing your fasting. All of Ramadan, all the effort you're putting down. Imagine the hours reading Quran and standing in Taraweeh and fasting, all gone just because you said something bad about a brother or you did Namimah. Namimah is another one. Namimah is gossip. Namimah is effectively spreading information about two brothers, resulting in a conflict, a mischief, an issue between those two brothers. So I went to my brother over here and I spoke to him about him and the other brother. He, and because of what that gossip I'd done during my normal chat, you know what, he's like that. He talks about you this way. He looks at you horribly, that kind of thing. The two brothers now are going to fight with each other or at the very least, they're not going to feel okay with each other. That's Namimah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about one of the kuffar. He's saying, وَلَا تُطَعْ كُلَّ حَلَّافٍ مَهِينٍ هَمَّازٍ مَشَّاءٍ بِنَمِيمٍ. Allah was talking about one of the kuffar in Quraysh, and he was a bad person. And Allah was describing his worst facts about him. The first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about him, that he's a liar and that he gossips between people, resulting in issues and conflict between brothers. Sayyidina Muhammad says, لا يدخل الجنة نمام. A person who gossips about brothers, resulting in conflict between brothers, does not go to Jannah. So this is something we like to do a lot. We like to talk. We love to gossip. That's a natural thing. Just be careful what you're saying about brothers. In fact, one of the reasons lying is haram. We all know that lying is haram, except in 3 instances. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it permissible. 1, in war. You can't go to the say, I'm an honest person, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell my enemy all that. For 1 is in war. The second one is between a man and his wife. Your cooking is awesome. I haven't tasted better cooking than this. And inside you're, oh my God, I can't eat this. I'm going to vomit. But it's accepted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted. I didn't say that about anyone, so I can see the smiles from the brothers. The third one is if you are making up between 2 brothers, you can lie. I can go to this brother and say, by the way, brother Ibrahim loves you. He says you're so-and-so. He's just literally waiting for an excuse to come and hug you and kiss you and say that we're okay. He didn't say anything at all. And I go to Ibrahim and say something like the other brother. I am absolutely like, no, this is permissible. So imagine gossip is the opposite. You're doing the absolute opposite, the opposite of that. There is no Jannah for you. That's forbidden. Because what are you going to do? How are you going to fix this? Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu this is narrated by Ibn Abbas, the Prophet's cousin. He was walking with the companions and he passed by 2 graves. And then he stood and said, these 2 are being punished in their graves. And they're not being punished by a great sin. One of them used to gossip between the people and cause conflicts and issues and mischief. And the other one, after he urinated, he never cleaned after himself with water and tissue and so on to make sure that no drops of urine falls on his clothes and so on. Of course, if you don't do that, then your clothes become impure because a drop of urine went on your clothes and you didn't wash it. Well, your prayer is not going to be accepted. Which is something we should all, cleanliness is part of Islam. We should all be careful when you go to, I personally tell when I used to teach my son, don't use urinals. If you have to, but you have to at least be sure that you're clean, your clothes are clean. And what Sayyidina Muhammad used to do is take a handful of water and just sprinkle it on his clothes. If worse comes to worse and you have got no other option, if you see a drop on your trousers or something, just wash it quickly. It's an easy, simple thing to do. But these 2 small things that Muhammad said, they're small things. Gossip, just chatting, and not cleaning yourself after. And Sayyidina Muhammad took a plant and put it on the 2 graves, and maybe those 2 plants would reduce the punishment in the grave. I will stop here and I'll continue next khutbah. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم. Do istighfar. Ask Allah forgiveness. May Allah forgive me and you. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa kafa, wa salatan wa salaman ala abdi alladhi istafa. Alhamdulillah, always a continuous thanks and gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything He's blessed us. And a continuous salah and salam on the Prophet Muhammad. May Allah grant him mercy. Right. I'm going to go to the next one. which is tajassus, spying. Sayyidina Muhammad says, "Min husn Islam al-mar' tarkuhu ma la ya'ni." One of the signs of someone's good religion is ignoring or leaving what does not concern you. You don't have to be nosy and try to figure out everything that's happening. A window's open. What's happening in the house? What are they doing? What's the house look like? I don't need to do that. In fact, one of the politeness, one of the adab of when you go into someone's house as a guest is you shouldn't let your eyes wander in the house. When you're visiting someone's house, keep your eyes down. Just sit where you're told to sit and just look at your don't keep on looking at every single part of the house unless he's showing you the house, that's different. But but not spying on others. And of course, following someone's mistakes and spying upon them is Sayyidina Muhammad explained in a lovely hadith, said that a man who follows the Muslims' mistakes and pitfalls, Allah would expose him even if he hid in the depths of a mountain. So someone who keeps on trying to figure out people's problems and try to spy on them and see what they're doing, Allah is going to expose that person even if he hid himself in the depths of a mountain. And we've probably all seen it. You've seen, especially with the reporters or people that publish stuff on, they live upon exposing people's mistakes. And in Islam, that's not good. That's haram. Of course, everything is caveated depending on what they're exposing. If they're exposing someone that um, that genuinely done something publicly bad, that's different, of course. Okay, I'm going to go to something else, which is sort of one bad assumptions. Assuming something bad about your brother without having evidence of what he does. My brother says to me something, does he mean this or does he mean that? Does he mean, and I keep on giving the worst assumptions. I never assume the best of my brother. One of the scholars, Imam Shafi, he said, give your brother 70 excuses for any action he's done. And if you can't find an excuse, then it's your fault. Then you're the ones that's at fault. They used to seek a good excuse for your brother. If your brother's done something you don't like, give him an excuse. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he's under a lot of pressure. That's why he talked to me that way. Don't straight away let your mind go to the worst reason. I'm going to finish with two things. There's lots more, but I think that the bottom line really is that if we are purifying ourselves for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not enough to purify myself personally, but I have to purify my interactions with my brothers. Imagine the society we would be in if everyone did what is due to him to do. If everyone held his tongue, didn't lie, didn't slander, didn't backbite, didn't gossip badly, didn't bad assume his brother, wasn't arrogant. Imagine how we should be. In fact, this is the main reason why 2/3 of the Muslims are Muslims right now. It's not because the Muslims or the Arabs, early Arabs conquered their countries. No. 2/3 or 3/4 of the Muslims right now are Muslims because they saw traders and they saw how they interacted. They saw people that were honest, people that had integrity. And this is what we teach our children. If you want something to teach your children, teach them this. Teach them integrity. Teach them to be truthful no matter what. Teach them not to talk about someone. Teach them not to assume the worst. The final one really is argument, jidal. Sayyidina Muhammad says that I will guarantee a house. In fact, the whole hadith is about interactions. The hadith goes like this. I will guarantee a house at the beginning of the Jannah, the first levels of the Jannah, to whomever leaves argument, even if he's right. Even if you're right, if I'm talking with a brother, and then as we're talking, you know what, he's not going to get convinced and we're just arguing. You can tell straight away. Just take a step back and whatever, doesn't matter. You'll guarantee the first part of the Jannah. The middle part of the Jannah is guaranteed someone who leaves lying, even if he's joking. So don't say, for instance, especially when they talk about, let's talk about in England over here, they talk about Welsh or Scot people, and they'll kick off a joke that makes fun of them, and it's all lying. He's joking, of course. No one, we all know that he's joking. But even if you're lying, so even if you're joking, don't lie. Keep your jokes truthful. You're guaranteed a place in the middle of the Jannah. And then Sayyidina Muhammad generalized it. And they'll guarantee a place at the top of the Jannah لمن حسن خلقه, to the person who has got good behavior, good manners. I'm going to just finish off with the general reminders, and I do apologize I didn't do that last time. Today is Friday, so Surah Al-Kahf, listen to it, make your children listen to it, make your house listen to it, open it in the house if you've got, and just listen to Surah Al-Kahf. It's only 10-15 minutes tops. Ramadan's coming, don't wait until Ramadan. Do not wait and think that when Ramadan's come, the Iman is gonna drop on me. It's not gonna happen. If you don't open the Quran now, you don't pray at night now, you'll be able to do so in Ramadan. So 2 rakat before you go to sleep, 10 ayat, that's all. Qul huwallahu ahad, al-adiyat, whatever you've memorized. Any 10 ayat, that's good enough. Before you get to sleep. Make your children do that. The final thing, Ramadan is a month of generosity. Sayyidina Muhammad, when Sayyidah Aisha's wife was talking about him, said he was normally generous, but in Ramadan he was like a wind, wind when that gives, it brings with its rain, it brings with its seas, it's known as a good thing. So he was like a rih mursala. So in Ramadan, be the most generous. Our brothers all around the world need your help. I'm going to try count every single country that needs help. Our brothers in Palestine are still suffering. Our brothers in Sudan are still suffering. Our brothers in Kashmir are still suffering. Our brothers even in Syria, even though the dictator's fallen, they're still in poverty. In fact, there's no country that I can see in the map that doesn't have Muslims in poverty. So no matter where you put your money, inshallah, Allah will accept it from you. Allah, Allah.